It's the start of the 2026 season, which means Australian Grand Prix predictions. All right, boys. Aussie Grand Prix.
Oh no, you got to keep on moving. Anybody gonna bring on my stride? Anybody gonna hold me down? Oh no.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Let's go, boys.
I want to do the John Farnham anthem so bad. If you've never heard that song, it's so epic. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
All right. Race week is here, fellas. It's the beginning of the season. This could be, and this is what's going to be funny about this episode. Let me tell you what's going to be funny about this. We're going to throw out predictions, and none of them are going to matter.
No.
Not one of them's going to matter.
Not one of them.
Because
No.
the only thing I can predict is chaos. That's the one thing I'm absolute sure about is that it's
and
gonna be
I like
chaotic.
it.
And Stroll is gonna win this, and it's gonna we're just gonna be
30-second
dumbfounded.
margin.
30-second
My
margin.
bold prediction, and by the way, only because everybody else DNFs.
Yeah.
21 DNFs. Lance Stroll just crosses the finish line by himself.
How long ago was it that Jim Clark, I think, lapped everybody?
1960 something.
Forever ago.
So there you go. 80 years later,
80 years later.
Lance is lapping everybody. It's so good.
Jim Clark incarnate.
I'm never going to count it out. I'm never going to count it out. Although reports suggested, and JW sent this, but I always take the Italian media and what they say with a grain of salt, is that, and this may weigh into some of the predictions that we have. Is that the intention of Aston Martin going to this Grand Prix is to go through the practice sessions, to go through the qualifying sessions, to do the formation lap, to pump out maybe 1 or 2 laps and then retire both vehicles because of lack of parts. Whether that's true, I don't know, but I hope this plays into our predictions. I hope it does, because I think that would be very funny. So with that, let's get into it. Let's get into what we will call one reasonable prediction for this race. And Alex, I'm going to start with you.
First of all, let me pop a Lucy real quick.
Nice. I love those things.
Daddy Wellness.
Shout out to Daddy Wellness. He's a G. Richie. Okay. Reasonable prediction. Mercedes will be on the podium.
Either one of the boys. I like that. JW, what
or
about
both. Mine's similar. Mercedes double points. I'm keeping it easy.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. I think that's a safe.
That's a safe.
Prediction.
I would say that's a safe bet. They were both in the points last year. So
Corey,
I like that. My one reasonable prediction is Max Verstappen gets on the podium.
Okay, I like that.
That's good.
That was my second.
You can't ever count the boy out.
You can't argue with that.
That was my second. That was my second option. So
all right, starting with JW, one bold take.
Okay. My bold take is that Oscar Piastri won't be on the podium.
It's not that bold.
And
it's not that bold.
And I sent this in earlier this week.
It's not bold. I'm laughing for a very specific reason. You'll find out in just a moment.
Yeah.
No Australian driver has ever finished on the podium in Melbourne.
You were right. You were correct when you sent that, because I did fact check that, and you were absolutely right.
So that's my take.
Out of like the 2 Australian drivers ever. So
there's been a couple.
There's been quite a few.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Haas will be leading the midfield.
Oh,
I like that.
I actually think that's more of a reasonable prediction than the bold prediction, because I have them firmly setting at 5 or 6.
Wait, so are you implying that Williams will not be in the midfield?
I'm not implying anything, Jacobo. Don't push my buttons so early, dude.
I am implying Williams will not be in the midfield, and I will say, and I will put 2 bold predictions. Bold prediction number 1 is Alpine does better collectively than in position-wise and or on points than Williams does. But my bold take, and JW, this is why I was laughing, is that Piastri crashes at his home race. Yeah, it's bold.
I think that might be tied in with the rapid fire questions. And I'll
Corey,
say
what are you smoking, by the way?
I'm smoking the Crown Heads L'Imperiosa.
Love it.
What do you think? The GOAT.
Dude, it's
Shout
so
out
good.
John Huber. It's one of the best cigars ever.
I mean, just a simple Robusto.
I did a rapid fire question with him. I never posted, and he asked me what is one of my favorite cigars? Not to ask me my favorite. I was smoking a Imperiosa Corona Gorda. I was like, dude, I swear I'm not kidding. This.
Oh, it's one of the most beautiful
it's
cigars.
Delicious.
Yeah.
What about one absolute dream / unrealistic prediction for the Australian Grand Prix. Alex, let's start with you.
I'm gonna let you answer for me, and I'm gonna tell you that you're correct with my dream unrealistic outcome.
I'm gonna answer for you.
Yeah.
Ferrari 1 and 2.
Come on, that is what? Carlos Sainz wins Albert Park.
Oh,
He's done it before. He's done it before. It's
this
not
was
wild.
your thing on Williams. Got it. Okay, that's why you were triggered.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, dude, that is a dream and unrealistic prediction.
Yep, very.
But how dope would that be?
That'd be so
sick.
dope. That'd be
What
so
a
dope.
game changer that would
Yeah.
be. But it would also have to be like what I said before in relation to Aston. It was like every other car would need a DNF for it.
Hey, I don't think it's that bad. Relax.
It's not that bad, but a lot of cars have the DNF.
No. Come on.
JW, what about you?
All right, mine's similar in the sense that a lot has to happen for it to happen, but I would absolutely love it for Cadillac to get points in their first race. So that's what I'm going with. Caddy points.
That is
points.
a dream and / unrealistic outcome. So I'll take that.
Yeah, because if we were to do a 1 through 22 predictions, I would firmly have both Cadillacs in the very back.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. Given the fact that, I mean, I guess at this point we've all kind of indirectly implied it, but I think if there's like a pileup, you're already taking 4 or 5 cars out of the race. So a 14th or 15th placement would be a very good start for Cadillac.
Oh,
Agreed.
Good God, yeah, it would. Absolutely. And honestly, given the fact that like none of these cars in like actual race form have launched off the line, again, at an actual race, have gone into a turn 1 and an actual race, and have finished or completed a lap in an actual race, it could be chaotic enough to where whatever your normal predictions would be based upon the information we have now, just get flipped on its head. It could easily just flip.
Literally just had a vision of everybody just braking at 4 miles an hour in the corner, just like first corner.
Oh, God, please
everybody
don't
like
happen.
it's organized, like stopping in 4 or 5 miles. It's gonna be great, dude.
It's gonna be absolutely
I'm not
bonkers.
drinking, but I think I want to be drunk for that.
I will be drinking for sure at the start
So
of that
will
race.
I.
My dream / unrealistic prediction is that both Aston Martins finish the race.
Okay,
That
wait. You, if it's a dream first and second unrealistic, that means you want it to happen. You want Lance Stroll to finish the race.
Switch dream to nightmare.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
I don't
more
want
sense.
Lance Stroll to finish the race. I would like to see Aston Martin finish the race.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah, cute.
It's just because I like the look of the car. It's so adorable.
Oh, look at you, Corey.
All right, now we're going to go more into the rapid fire. These are points that I'm going to end up tracking throughout the season. And at the end of the season, the winner will get something. We'll have to decide between the three of us what that thing will be.
Yeah.
So we'll do kind of rapid fire right now, and then I'll make sure that I keep track of the answers. And then what we'll end up doing on the next episode, where we review the actual race, is we'll go through those answers and tally the points.
Perfect.
All right, number 1, who puts it on pole? Alex, let's start with you.
Charles Leclerc.
JW?
Mad Max.
Oh, I selected Charles Leclerc as well. Predictions on the race winner. Who wins the race? The Australian Grand Prix. JW?
George William Russell.
AB?
Max Verstappen.
I also picked Russell. Wow,
There we
we're gonna be tight on these points, boys. And I do want to say the fill in the blank questions, where we actually have to give an answer that's not yes or no, is worth 3 points. Yes or no answers are worth 1 point.
Okay.
This may not happen, but I suspect it will. And this may be a question that I take out later in the season. But first DNF of the Australian Grand Prix will go to who? Alex?
Lance Stroll.
This is a great prediction. It's totally viable. JW?
Franco Colapinto. And I hated picking it, but yeah, I think he's crashing out.
I also chose Franco Colapinto.
Wow. All right.
Look at JW and I are we've got the wavelength today. First curse word over the radio goes to who? Alex?
The car is shit. I got no brakes. Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso.
God,
Got it.
that's such a good pick.
That is a great pick. I think I got a good one too. What do you think, JW?
George Russell.
Oh, yeah, I could see George.
Yeah.
I could see George. Yeah, that's a good one too.
He's a diva, dude.
I chose Isaac Hadjar because he's a fiery little shit.
Yes.
And he cusses. Dude, if you ever hear him in F2, it's all bleeps. The whole thing is beep. Like, so I'm like, they love, if Isaac Hadjar is doing anything aggressively in the midfield, it will cut to him and there will be cuss words. I can almost guarantee
mate, I destroyed the car. No.
If his Australian Grand Prix was at all like the one he had last year, there'll be a lot of tears and a lot of cussing. All right. So these are yes or no's. Will the winner of the race lead every lap? Alex?
No.
JW?
Hell no. No one ever does in Albert Park.
Yeah, I also said no as well. Will there be a red flag in the race? JW?
Yes.
AB?
Yes.
I also said yes. There's got to be, right? We know this is going to be chaos. We absolutely know it's going to be chaos.
It's not gonna happen.
All right. What else do we have? Okay. Will the race be decided by under 3 seconds? This prediction becomes much easier as the season goes on.
I want to say
100%.
I want to say yes, but no.
I think it will. I think this race is going to be chaos, and I think no one's going to be spared. Everyone's going to be under pressure at some point. So, yeah, I think, yeah.
I like that take. This one was tough for me, but I also said no. But I really honestly, like, to me, it's kind of like a 50-50 just because we don't know enough yet.
Yeah, toss of a coin.
This one I think should be easy for everybody. Do we feel there's going to be lap 1 contact? Dude, lap 1 contact, there's going to be
Give me violence from the beginning.
There's going to be contact within the first 4 seconds.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I think
someone's going to stall.
I think someone will stall and someone will crash in the back of someone. I really, truly believe that's going to happen. I think multiple people will end up stalling their vehicles and they'll get crashed into.
So that means everybody has the same answer for the safety car.
Correct. Safety car deployed? Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, this one is a little bit more about debate. And I am curious what your guys' take in now that we're in the beginning of the season. And there's expectations that have rolled over from 2025. But for all intents and purposes under new regulations, we kind of call it a clean slate a little bit. So this is going to make this one a little bit more trickier to answer and I think to defend a position. Mm-hmm. So rank your top 3 drivers that you think are under the most pressure going into the Australian Grand Prix. And Alex, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I got 60 seconds to break the 3 down and give my reasoning. And then there will be a rebuttal rebuttal window. So my 3 drivers under pressure are going to be Isaac Hadjar, Lando Norris, and Lewis Hamilton. Main reason for Isaac is it's just inherently and naturally the most the seat with the most pressure that just over the last 10 years, maybe after Sebastian Vettel's run, that became a seat that was, go back from 15, 16 through 18, Daniel Ricciardo was winning races and still had the pressure to leave. Everybody getting sacked over the last 5 years, and him with expectations to perform. There's no question that to me, that's the most pressure. I think he's going to cope, but I think that's the most pressure. Lando, he's just coming off a world championship. He's talked some smack out of place. I think he should have kept quiet. But he talked smack. He's backing up the cars, and I don't know if the cars are going to perform as he is as confident, like he can perform in the new vessels. And lastly, Lewis Hamilton. Spotlights on Ferrari. Cue back to one of our shorts. Cool your engines, Tifosi, quoting our man J-Dub up here. I think there's a lot of pressure. I think he's acting like he's very chill and he's transformed and he's very zen. I think he probably took a vacation somewhere in Indonesia or something and went on like a 2-week yoga retreat. But I really think the pressure's on him. Leclerc's been looking really, really, really good. And I think it's a make or break year for him to understand whether he's going to go the route of Fernando Alonso and, become slowly a, once upon a time guy or an actual threat And I think the beginning of the race, the beginning of the season with the first race is going to be very telling on whether Ferrari or him in that seat can perform as he's expected to, which is nothing less than a world championship contender.
I think it's hard for me to argue those three. And as a matter of fact, when you brought up Isaac Hadjar, I go, damn, I should have put that one in there. And I think additional pressure for Isaac Hadjar, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the case, but you certainly in your rookie season, if you reflect back to your performance at the Australian Grand Prix in 2025, boy, there's a little bit of, you can't tell me that doesn't carry a little bit of weight in the psychology when you're going in the second seat of Red Bull at the Australian Grand Prix under new regulations at the very start of a season. Like you're gonna carry some of that internal pressure.
Yep.
Really hard for me to argue those. JW, you have an argument against Alex's?
Absolutely not. I think they're
Those
spot
are
on.
good. Those are fucking good. Damn it.
Yeah, those are really good, Alex.
I was really wanting to fucking argue, and I can't argue. Oh,
right.
I hate when I can't argue.
I might give you a reason.
Okay, hit me.
All right, first one, Lando Norris. Similar to what Alex said, coming off a championship season. Yes, is it a clean slate? For 21 out of the 22 drivers, it is. Not for the world champion.
Correct.
Also, I don't think he was necessarily backing up the cars. I think he's backing up the fact that everyone should be lucky to be there. Everyone should feel lucky to be there.
Yeah.
But regardless, he's under a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
I think he's going to perform okay this year. I don't think he's going to repeat by any means necessary. But yeah, that's Lando. The second one, I couldn't settle on a driver, so I did a team, and it's Mercedes. If there is a team that has been hyped up, not just since the season ended, but since last season began, it's Mercedes. And if they fail to deliver, and if George and Kimi are not up to the task, that's pandemonium over at Mercedes. So yeah, Mark. And then the last one, and only because he has already put the pressure on himself for it, is Charles.
Ooh.
I think this is a make or break year for Ferrari to keep Charles Leclerc. And I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure from mainly Italian media and the Tifosi. And the fact that Ferrari did so well in testing does not help him.
Yeah, expectations are risen a little bit as a
Big
result. There is that interesting, and JW, I will go back, as Alex already did, reflecting on what you said earlier as far as like cool your jets, Tifosi, because I think you get it's kind of the same as being, I'll relate it to being a Browns fan.
100%.
Every single year, Browns fans get a good draft pick. Our defense looks
or
solid.
A Dolphins fan.
Or a Dolphins fan.
Or a Dolphins
Hello?
fan. And you go, this is our year. And then it crumbles beneath you.
Yeah.
And you just go, God, again.
And you're a laughing stock.
And Ferrari's kind of been in this shape for quite a long time. It's been a while since
which is why I will counter. I will come in and I will counter. And the reason being is because Ferrari has been there. There's everybody that has been a Ferrari fan for a while, like myself. I've become so numb. I've become so numb, which nothing will surprise me. I think at the end of the day, Charles understands that. I mean, Lewis is going to retire soon, right? Charles has still got 6-7 more years driving. I mean, look at his trajectory. It's only been upwards since he started. So he's still prime, man. Like, you know,
I'm not debating that.
If Ferrari extends for him, perfect. If he's got an opportunity to go elsewhere, I look back at Daniel Ricciardo in 2018. You know, you've seen the memes and you've seen the jokes. Murph, no, don't make that decision. Well, honestly, that was the right decision. Murph. That was the right decision. That was the absolute right decision, even though it didn't pan out for him. It was the right decision. And if Charles Leclerc needs to move on, I think he will be at peace that he will be finding a solid contract somewhere. You know, I don't know exactly where, but he
hopefully not Aston Martin now, because that rumor had come out, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, if he's able to be paired with Fernando Alonso for another 2 years and get a 2 to 3 year contract, obviously it's, you know, look at McLaren in 2018.
Agreed.
I mean, absolutely, Aston Martin turned that team around.
Yeah, of course. Give them some time, they will. But the question becomes, how much time does a Charles Leclerc want to take? to get to that point.
I mean, how old is Charles? 29 right now?
Yeah.
I know for sure he's not 30, but he's definitely in his late 20s.
He's got 6-7 years of
he's got
prime time.
Prime racing.
So
100%.
he's going to make 20, 30 million anywhere he goes. I don't think there is a pressure on him. I think he understands. I mean, he's had an opportunity. He's made the most out of it. And then going back to Mercedes, I think that I will only counter it mildly, and I will counter it just because you kind of skirted the rules a little bit. If you would have gone with Kimi or with George, I would have been a little bit more lenient. But I'm going to counter because Kimi, deep down inside, is still a rookie, right? He's in Mercedes. He's got to perform. I mean, look at Valtteri, right? Well, look at his role over the years in Mercedes. I mean, let's go back specifically to 2018, right? I mean, he had some horrendous performances, but he also had great performances across the year with no expectations, no pressure from Toto other than be a compliment to the world champion and just help us get a constructors. So if he has a terrible result in 5, 6, 7 races, a decent result in 3, 4 races, and a really good result top 5 in the rest of the races, he's not the world championship contender right now, and he's a second-year rookie. So
right, but
the pressure would be
well.
That's who you should have said. If you would have said George, I would have said, I don't necessarily agree that there's so much pressure as there would be on somebody a little bit more along the line, a little bit more advanced in his career, like just to maybe a year or two more advanced in his career. I think George, if he doesn't win this year and Mercedes has a competitive car, he will still have an opportunity the next year or the following year.
So I agree with your rebuttals, and I'm not gonna disagree with what you said on Merc because I think it's pretty spot on. What I will say is this about Charles: it's not necessarily Charles's pressure year, but it's Scuderia Ferrari's Charles Leclerc's pressure year.
Yeah.
I think I agree 100%. Charles has a long career ahead of him still, but as a Tifosi, as a Scuderia Ferrari driver, it's make or break for him. And he said it himself multiple times. Like, this year is big for him and big for him and with his relationship with Ferrari. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Corey? I do want to add just on the Kimi Antonelli point, Alex, is that I get what you're saying. I will counter a little bit in the fact that the expectation of Kimi Antonelli before he entered F1 was already super high.
It was.
I think the difference that we're seeing now is the fact that George Russell has put in such good performances and really looks, because I think at one time, I don't think Toto knew whether or not George Russell was going to really take over and lead that team. I think that was a question mark. I think that was a question mark in terms of his contract too.
I think that was a media thing. I honestly think that was a media thing. Because if you look how they were polishing him, I mean, the stupidest thing would be, hey, let's go after Charles, let's go after a Max. I mean, a Max is
Carlos.
You can if you get a chance to go after A-Rod and Kobe and LeBron, you do it. But at the end of the day, who is better for Mercedes than George Russell? That was a media thing. That was quite frankly a media thing.
There's not, and I don't mean it to the point of like whether or not he was going to step up. I'm talking about the pairing of the two drivers themselves, because I look at someone like Kimi Antonelli, and we still have to see how he further develops and what that looks like in terms of career trajectory. But I look at it and it's like, eventually, I think Toto Wolff has always looked at Kimi Antonelli as like, you're the next guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not been George Russell's the next guy. Kimi Antonelli is the next guy.
Yeah.
Like, and Toto Wolff's been very clear about that all the way back to his junior racing days. I mean, they've been scouting this kid since he was a sperm. Like, it's crazy how long they've been focusing on Kimi Antonelli. And although George Russell was a development driver through the Williams program and then obviously went up to Mercedes and I think was always going to be earmarked to go to Mercedes, he wasn't talked about in the same way Kimi Antonelli's talked about. So that's why I'm kind of thinking like, I do think there's Mercedes is like a whole, because we could look at it in terms of team and the individual drivers, and I think there's a lot happening there. And this year, I think will tell us what the long term looks like for both drivers and the team. I truly believe that.
Yep.
My 3 are Franco Colapinto, Esteban Ocon, and Lewis Hamilton. Franco Colapinto, only because I've seen some of the Drive to Survive quotes from Briatore. I think there's pressure there not only because of that, because Alpine has been notorious over the past few years as far as just chewing up and spitting him out. we saw there's things from Jack Doohan that have recently surfaced in the media where he's like, I've only been able to tell you guys about roughly a third of what actually occurred in conversations. And then I think the other part of it too, and this is me playing more connecting the dots, more conspiracy theory-esque, is that you have a Fernando Alonso that wants to remain in the sport, may not want to remain at Aston Martin.
Yeah.
His natural shift would be to his best buddy, which is Flavio Briatore, and going back to Alpine. They're not getting rid of Gasly.
Yep.
So Franco Colapinto would be the person on the chopping block.
Okay. So
I love it.
I will only mildly counter because I think Franco is one of the most misunderstood drivers, even at an early on in his career. He's one of the most cool, calm, and collected and truly nonchalant. He does not give a rat's ass because he's becoming a superstar. He's bringing a ton of money. He's getting at a very young age. He's getting he's not like this super hype driver, but he's got the whole country and bigwigs from Argentina behind him.
Obsessed with him. They're sending death threats to people. That's how obsessed they are with him.
Argentina fans and Brazil fans are arguably the most passionate in any kind of spectrum of sports spheres. So I will counter because he's just such a chill dude. I fucking love Franco, but at the same time, everything that you said after that is absolutely true. And I think Alpine is, one, powered by Mercedes now and will arguably have a competitive car. Two, is one of the hottest midfield teams that will probably have enough money for a Charles or a Fernando if those moves were to happen, right? So I'll give you that. Lewis obviously agreed, and then your third was
Ocon.
Esteban Ocon.
Can't argue with that. But I also can't passionately agree.
It's one of those things. Just when this was the one where I was thinking about interchanging it when you came out with when you said yours, and I was like, oh, Hadjar. Because Ocon was really, for me, it's mostly like the things that when you hear something from a team principal that's just open and honest and out in the public about it.
Yeah.
If we're hearing that from Komatsu out in the open public, I can only imagine the repeated conversations that have been had with Ocon. So I think there has to be an element of team pressure that exists there. And I will say, if Haas's car performs in the midfield like we think it might, and I put Haas and Alpine very close to each other this year. I think it's like 5 and 6.
Agreed.
If you have Ollie Bierman continue his trajectory and get a lot of points and have a lot of valuable race wins, and Esteban Ocon is not on that same level or begins to slip, Esteban Ocon ain't going to hang around Haas much longer. It's just not going to happen.
Who are you going to replace him with?
F2 driver.
F2 drivers. Alex, the talent pool is not small.
It's insane.
No, it is. But Haas being a midfield contender, you don't play around with the Jack Doohans of the world.
No,
you don't,
no,
because
I agree with that.
you get what happened. You get what happened last year with Doohan.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I don't disagree with that.
You don't want another Logan Sargent on your hands. You don't want another Jack Doohan because that's going to happen, and you can only do that if you're a Cadillac. If you're certain that you're in the back of the field, you can take those risks and build to your future. Now, I like it, and I'm glad that you mentioned Ocon, which means I don't disagree. What you've mentioned is factual. It's true. It's accurate. But at the same time, that last episode where we had our conversation, and I was like, wait a minute. I mean, Ocon has scored like 270 points compared to, I don't remember who we were comparing it with, to who comparing it to, but it was like you thought this driver was far superior than Ocon in terms of performance. I was like, no.
Yeah, he's looked. Ocon is definitely over his career.
Yeah,
has definitely looked valuable. I'm not looking,
and he's incredibly misfortunate. Misfortunate.
Yes,
Look at the amount of points he lost just by having a heated rivalry with Checo in 2018.
And Gasly.
Well, he also had the same with Gasly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Gasly.
They both just crashed each other out.
Bro, how many times has a team taken out Ocon? And Ocon is such a, turn the other cheek guy that it was mostly, I hate defending because I just, there's nothing emphatic about, there's nothing, there's no charisma there. I just think he's straight up a very good driver. I think he's fast. I think he's calculated. I think he overtakes pretty well. And I think over his career, he's had a lot of misfortunes. And people, the reason why he's where he's at still over F2 drivers and teams that were able to rebuild, 3-4 years ago until this point is because he's so talented. So that's why I will mildly disagree. But at the same time, if there were a driver that would be kind of replaceable for higher talent on a midfield team to make it a top four, a big four contender, yes, it would probably be Esteban Ocon.
I think once we get into further in the season, we'll have a better idea of what that looks like. Again, both in comparison to both drivers' results, but then also how the car is actually performing. Yeah. I think that will be the telltale. I agree. I definitely agree with your points as far as I think one of the things that keeps Esteban Ocon potentially at Haas is the fact that he is the veteran driver. And there's more than just what you do on track. We talked about it with Carlos Sainz.
100%.
There is a lot that you can bring in terms of experience and knowledge, and then being able to help Ollie Beerman mature as a driver. And they seem to get along very well. But I think if Ollie Beerman just ragdolls him this year, it's going to be tough for him to keep that seat. So I think honestly that one is kind of we'll be able to tell a little bit more as the season progresses. All right, let's finish this episode off with some fun questions. Are you ready? And I changed one at the end, and I said it's going to be a little bit of a curveball because I didn't send it to you guys, and I apologize. But we'll start with the first. Which driver has the highest chance of survival spending a week in the Alps?
All right, can I just say it for everyone? Because if we don't have the same answer, I think we're all crazy.
At the same time, 1, 2, 3.
Fernando Alonso.
What? Who did you say, Corey?
Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, Bottas.
Are you both? Oh no, it's either Bottas or Alonso. Honestly,
Alonso's a good shout. I won't knock it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
Bottas literally lives in the outback.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at Fernando. I mean, I've never seen a body of him at the beach, a picture of him at the beach, but he looks like a caveman. Like he looks like he has
his neck.
Look at his neck. Look at Valtteri's is always at a speedo. He's like hairless, dude.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what?
That's
I'll
a good
give it to you
shout.
guys.
It's a good shout. No, Fernando's a good shout, Alex.
All right.
Yeah.
Second
Fernando's
question.
just so small. He's so tiny. He's like 5'5"?
He is short.
But I guess that has nothing to do with survival, I guess, really. It's probably a benefit, really, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I do. I'm glad someone else said Bottas because I'm like, I hope someone's in the same camp that I'm in. Which team principal could beat up a kangaroo?
We can say it at the same time.
There's 1, 2, 3. Toto Wolff.
Alan Permain.
What?
Have you ever heard that man talk on the radio?
Yeah.
He gives no.
But what about Toto? Toto can
I get the Toto shout.
Toto can look at you and kill you.
Toto Wolff is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but bigger.
Yeah.
But taller, but skinnier too.
Everybody's skinnier than Schwarzenegger.
Have you seen Toto Wolff? He's jacked.
No, I'm not. He's jacked. Yeah, I'm not knocking it.
Big. Dude, he beat the brakes off of a poor kangaroo. He'd punch
I feel
that
bad for
right
his poor
in the
wife. She's so tiny because Susie's tiny compared to him.
Susie's tiny, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Susie can actually fit into an F1 car. Toto Wolff cannot.
Yeah. To be fair,
he's way too big.
Yeah.
I think 8 out of 10 women are shorter than Toto Wolff. So. Or 9 out of 10. So.
That is true. I was hoping someone would just say Fred Vasseur.
I could totally see him doing it.
No, he would have other people do it for him.
Exactly. 100%.
Mafia boss?
Mafia boss.
Here's the one at the end that I switched up on you guys, and I apologize. I believe I switched this up. I don't think I sent this to you. If you were bitten by the highly venomous brown snake, which driver would you want to suck the poison out of you?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'd die. I just die. I just die.
JW, what do you think?
Well, you see, here's the thing. I have a wife to think about now, so it's not like I can just die.
Certainly don't want that. That's the worst outcome.
That's the worst outcome.
All right, so if you had to pick somebody.
If I had to pick someone, I'd probably pick how do I say this without getting canceled? But
please do it.
The manliest driver, because I know that it will be understood between the both of us that this is not sus.
Who's the manliest driver?
I mean, I think it goes without saying it's Fernando.
Yeah. Fernando?
Yeah.
Alex, is that your pick?
I mean, Lando would certainly enjoy it way too much.
Oh,
so I think Fernando.
That was the answer I was going to give for the original question Corey asked.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to say that question. Yeah.
So the best part is Alex, I was thinking in my head, I go, Lando, because he would definitely be the best at it. No doubt has experience. I wanted to say him. But and someone said this earlier, and I can't remember which one of you. I think it was JW. Fernando Alonso's neck.
Yeah,
dude,
he could probably hold some poison here and store it for a little bit.
100%, dude. Just like that, the still image of him doing the neck exercises is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, that dude has a neck, dude. He could suck a freaking pebble through a ureter if he needed to. Yeah. Like that. There's Fernando Alonso is 100% my pick for this.
All right, dude. Boys. Let's end this on this weird note.
Yeah.
Let's end this on this weird note, and we'll go back to episode 13.
Yeah.
Is it 13?
Yeah.
This is episode 12. 13. So we'll do a race review. We'll tally the points. So we'll tally the points. We'll go over a thorough race review. It's gonna be chaotic. This episode's hitting close to 40 minutes. The next one I feel like there's gonna be a lot to talk about, but we'll make sure that we do a little bit of a blitz on it. But yeah, we'll tally the points for next episode. We'll do the race review. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We hope you found this enjoyable and fun. I like this format. It's very fun just to kind of go over some silly questions.
Subscribe to the new channel.
Yeah, so we've got a new channel. So check us out on YouTube, the Podium Sessions channel. So it is a new channel. Is migrated from an existing channel. So go ahead and give us a little love there as well. And then, of course, all socials. We're all on. And we can put links to everything in descriptions. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Zanga, MySpace. You name it, Tumblr, we're on all of them. I don't even think those exist anymore.
Subscribe or Lance Stroll World Champion 2026, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what you get. We'll never hear the end of it. I'll stop watching F1 if that ever happens. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. I'd be excited for him. All right, so that will conclude episode 12, our Australian predictions, and can't wait for the race and can't wait to go through the review. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Lotus, 72. Lotus, 72.